this is for the Economic Development Commission for February 25th, 2021. I, Ray Giovanni, am the chair, and this evening we are going to begin our monthly meeting, and this has started now at 7 p.m. So please allow me to confirm those members and staff that are participating this evening that can hear me. If you can, thank you. Good night. If I could ask each participant identify themselves so that we could place you in the sync, it would be great. So let's see, members, when I call your name. So we have Christine.
I'm here, thank you.
Nauer's here. Lauren Hubble has joined us. Thank you, Lauren. Mary Hall is here. We have staff is William Holsworth. And we also have Jim. I don't see Jim, but I think he's here.
Yeah, Jim. I dialed in because the kids have lacrosse practice tonight till 7:30. So
no,
James Goldstein is here.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. That's James Goldstein. I just didn't see you, but it doesn't mean I know how to use my computer either. So that could have been part of the problem. That is who we have attending so far this evening. I here declare that we have a quorum and call this meeting to order. A copy of the agenda and any related materials have been posted to and can be found on the town's website, www.monroect.org, for your review. This public meeting is being conducted remotely in compliance with Section 1 of Governor Lamont's Executive Orders Number 7B, dated back in March 14, 2020, using GoToMeeting electronic conferencing technology. Using this technology, the public shall participate in real time in this meeting via computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone using the access information set forth on the meeting agenda. So please be advised that each meeting has this unique participation information, so please be sure that you have accessed the correct meeting. So notice is also here given that there should be 250 participants or less may access this remote meeting at any one time. Should this technology be utilized and that there should be more than that participation, then we would have to call the meeting to a close to then create another new format for that purpose. So again, know that this meeting is being conducted in real time, that this meeting is open to the public, that any member of the public may listen or view to this meeting anonymously, and that this meeting is being recorded, and we will ask you to mute your microphones unless recognized to speak, and that anything you say, do, or displayed on your screen may become part of this recording. This recording shall be posted on the town's website within 7 days, and that this recording shall be made available to the public within a reasonable time in town hall or upon request. So this meeting shall follow standard parliamentary procedures. All participants to please follow these special rules, which is, talking about the microphone and muting if need be. Prior to speaking on each occasion, please identify yourself clearly with your name and for the record, and use if you feel the chat feature is not acceptable. So again, we will allow you to speak up. So I think that covers our issues on that. Great. Okay, so I think we're in good order. Yes. Okay. Any questions so far? We are very honored, and I want to thank Lauren Hubble for taking this initiative to bring to our availability our guest speaker.
Hi, Lauren.
Sadie, if I say that right? Colcord?
Yeah,
Colcord.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Sadie.
No problem. So
she brings us great knowledge and experience with the group that we're so fond of, which is Advanced Connecticut. So I know she's going to try to bring us some ideas and thoughts that we are always trying to embrace. So again, the Monroe Economic Development, Sadie, is yours, and we are all ears. So thank you
Sure.
for sharing your evening with us.
Yeah, thank you all for having me to speak. And I know I met with this group, I think about a year ago, actually, with my colleague Rachel in person back then when we presented some economic data to you all. And I hope that you all have found that helpful. And I'm very glad to be back, for another conversation. And, that's kind of what I hope we can do here is have a conversation. I want to hear, of course, from you all as well on what your priorities are and what you're hoping to see for Monroe moving forward, and that will certainly help me better provide some ideas and some suggestions just from the work that I'm doing in advanced CT. And I've also been a local economic developer in a couple communities, and in addition to my work at advanced CT. So and I'll start by just talking a little bit about advanced CT and the work that we're doing, and how we work with communities across the state. So we are a statewide economic development organization. We're partnered very closely with the State Department of Economic and Community Development, and we work to recruit, retain, and expand businesses here. So recruiting businesses from outside of the state, and then retaining and expanding the ones that we have here. I work mostly on the retention and expansion side. So I talk, all the time with Connecticut-based businesses, and so, I think I have a good understanding of kind of obviously the challenges that they're experiencing now in light of COVID, but beyond that as well. And I also do a lot of work I'm on the partnerships team in advanced CT. So I do a lot of work with our economic development partners who are, towns, municipal economic development, chambers of commerce, regional economic development organizations, councils of government, really, any group that plays a role in economic development statewide. We're sure to stay in touch with them. And, the end goal is that we all are kind of moving in the same direction and, working to kind of coordinate our efforts to, to support the businesses in our state, because that's, I think that's all of our goals. And, we want to see that business growth. And so, yeah, so that's just a little bit about what we do at Advanced CT. And I guess I can start out just putting a few thoughts out there about, some activities that EDCs I think should be undertaking generally, and particularly in light of COVID. But then I definitely want to hear from you all on kind of more more specific priorities. But more broadly, I think economic development commissions are key ambassadors between the town and the business community, and I think that's kind of the number one role. Obviously, Bill can only do so much in interacting with businesses as he's one person, and the town has kind of limited staffing capacity, any town. And so you all are kind of an extension of the town in that you all can be out interacting with businesses, and I think that's the number one role that you can play is acting as those ambassadors. So whether it's visiting a business in person, giving them a phone call, however you get in front of them, I think just reaching out to the businesses saying, what challenges are you experiencing? How can the town help? And, making connections to the appropriate resources from there. I think, right now with COVID, I think having a good understanding of the various programs that could be, that businesses could be eligible for, like the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. There's going to be another program coming out through the SBA soon called the Shuttered Venues Program. And, there are, other resources like the Connecticut Small Business Development Center, like the Women's Business Development Council, that provide technical assistance to businesses that are looking to apply for these programs, and far beyond that as well. They help them just do general like marketing plans, business plans, just more broad kind of operational things. And so just kind of having at least a good understanding of what's out there, so that, when you're talking with the businesses in the community, you could say, yeah, you should reach out to this organization or that organization, because these businesses, they're very good at doing, what their craft is and what they do, but they don't necessarily have, the knowledge of all the resources that are kind of available to them. And just the lack of knowledge, that's a big thing where the EDC could come in and kind of fill that gap and provide some assistance in that way. So yeah, I mean, I think that's, like I said, I think that's kind of the number one role, but there's plenty more that you all can be doing. If you don't have, a Facebook page or some form of social media, I think that's, a great way to build, be able to communicate en masse with the businesses in the community. Even just sharing, here's a webinar coming up about how to apply for the PPP, or, any resources that you all might come across. You could, promote various businesses in town and say, oh, this business is having a sale this weekend, or, we're doing a eat local, win local business promotion program in town. Or so that's a great way to kind of communicate and get the word out, and build up, make sure that you're trying to build up that base of the businesses that are following your social media account or accounts. Yeah, I'd love to know more about kind of what you all are kind of identify as some challenges in town, or opportunities that you all would like to take advantage of from an economic development perspective.
Good. Does anyone want to start responding for Sadie?
Sadie, I do
Sure, I
have
can
one
go ahead.
question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill, you want to go ahead?
I just have one question for Sadie as it relates to the social media accounts. Do
Mhm.
you find that more businesses are utilizing Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or do you find that the audiences are better reached by any one specific platform over another?
Yeah, I think Facebook is probably what businesses use most often. I think it's probably the easiest to I think it's what most people use, residents of the community as well as businesses. I think that's probably, the number one option. But Instagram, I think that definitely has its merits. It probably appeals to a younger audience. But I think Facebook has a lot more broad appeal to different age groups, and just generally is better utilized by businesses and residents. So,
Sadie, this is Mary Hall. Okay. Question for you. Okay.
sure.
I mean, social media is really popular, and that's how a lot of some of the businesses are actually doing promotions. But there's a lot of residents, okay, who maybe aren't attuned to how to use social media or
Mhm.
whatever. So, in your experience in working with the other businesses throughout Connecticut, how are businesses and how are EDCs, okay,
Mm.
connecting to reach out to that population?
Mm.
Have you got
Sure.
any ideas on that?
So, I mean, if, for people who have emails, and, a lot of people who have email also have social media, but not necessarily. I think email is another great one when you're out talking with businesses. Um, get their contact information, and that's a list that you're going to have to develop over time, that business contact information list. And that's another kind of good role for the EDC to play. It's a little tedious, but it's an important list to have. So, as much as you can be doing, emails, the Monroe EDC updates on kind of what you're working on, or resources for the business community, I think that's certainly a good option. And then, if there are people who don't have emails, then, if we're talking about businesses, you have to just make a phone call or go visit the business in person. and I think that's probably the best way. You could always, you know, if it's like an event or something, you know, kind of a one-off thing, maybe you post flyers in, you know, commonly visited public places like the grocery store or the library or town hall. But I mean, it is more challenging to reach people who don't at least have email, but you know, it's just going to be a little bit more time consuming and a little bit more involved to get to those people, but it certainly can and should be done. So,
Yeah, thank you, Sadie. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I mean, we've talked about this before, and you're absolutely correct and spot on that it does make it challenging because, you know, we don't even sometimes have the emails for
right.
individuals that we wish we could put up,
Yeah.
you know, a roster together, and we don't have that. You know, we sometimes don't even have it for the businesses.
Right.
You know, so but we're working towards that end, though. So
Mhm.
I'm glad you mentioned it.
Good. Great. Yeah, that's honestly, it's such a, it seems like such a small thing, but it is time consuming and challenging to get that contact list.
It really is, but it's
Yeah.
invaluable. Should we have it, we would
Mhm.
really, you know,
Right.
knock the cover off the ball if we ever got,
Right.
you know, close to accomplishing that, you know.
Mhm.
So we're looking forward to that day that we,
Yeah.
you know, get closer to that, you know.
Right.
So Sadie, maybe I didn't. I think you answered half of my question, and maybe I didn't articulate it in the way in for the other half. I
Mhm.
understand it's hard to get the contacts of, say, we have 700 businesses,
Mhm.
okay, in Monroe, okay. Not all of them are savvy enough to be on social media, and as Ray said, it's difficult to even get, even if they have an email or whatever. What I'm
Mhm.
talking about is the 19,000 or 20,000 people, okay? And
Mhm.
that's the population of Monroe. Say 10,000 of those people are adults or whatever, okay?
Mhm.
Who and maybe half of those people are over an age bracket where they don't, okay, use social media. How are the businesses in those other communities themselves, okay? Because they want to sell their business, they want to sell their products, they want to sell their services. How
Mhm.
are they, with the aid of EDC, if at all, okay, reaching out to that population that doesn't have that visibility to what they're offering or whatever?
Mhm.
The
Sure.
silent audience, right? The
Right.
silent audience.
Right.
Understood. Yeah. Now I better understand the question.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
yeah, so I see EDCs often putting together mailers periodically. It's, you know, it that requires a budget. But if you do have a budget, you know, have go out to the businesses in town and say, or, you know, have them funded and say, you know, do you want to put forward $300 to have your ad included in this mailer? And, you know, that's kind of the another way to reach this population. I don't think that, you know, doing phone calls is necessarily going to work, but you know, wherever they can get physical ads out into the community, I mean, you know, that's kind of a good option. You see, you know, if you go to a diner and you'll see the paper placemats that have ads. So, you know, work with the local diner if that's an option, or, you know, I think wherever you might think to see a print advertisement, that's going to be key for that group that doesn't necessarily have that, you know, technology enabled household.
Katie, I'm
Right.
glad you brought that up. What we've
Mhm.
been doing historically is last year we partnered with the Parks and Rec Department. They were
Mhm.
doing a scarecrow contest.
Mhm.
And what we did was we did a fundraiser with
Mhm.
the local businesses that they can buy a spot to put their scarecrow and
Mhm.
advertise at Wolf Park. And I know
Right.
you're familiar with Wolf Park where they don't allow any advertising whatsoever. But we were able to partner with Parks and
Mhm.
Rec and their commission to
Yep.
allow advertising for that scarecrow contest so
Right.
that businesses could make their wares known to everybody,
Right.
but also support the community with a donation of
Mhm.
buying the scarecrow and
Right.
decorating it to look like their business.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Bill. Like events are a great way to do advertisement, that while you have to advertise the events in some way, but you know, it gets people out into the community to, you know, view what the businesses are selling, or whether it's a sidewalk sale or, you know, a concert downtown or whatever it might be, you know, the scarecrows in the window. Or so that's another great way to get people engaged with the businesses and for them to really enjoy. Obviously COVID, you know, you have to be careful, but you know, once we're past this, I think events are another great way to help promote the business community. So
Sadie, Lauren Hubble here. It's nice to
Hello.
meet you in person
Nice to
rather
meet you
than
too.
on the phone. Question.
Sure.
If you're around obviously a lot more than we are in, you know, in different towns, have you seen any unique promotions or anything that's really stood out to you that's been kind of creative, different?
Sure. Yeah. So one that I've seen a lot of towns doing, and I don't know if you're already doing this in Monroe or not, is, and this one's pretty easy to put together. It's local win local or shop local win local. So it's basically a program where you get a restaurant or a local business to donate like a $20 gift card, and you have the residents of the town go to two different restaurants or two different stores, however you structure it, and they take a picture of their receipt and they send it into the town, or they send it into the EDC. And then, you know, once they've sent in those two receipts, they're entered into a raffle to win the gift card. So that's pretty straightforward, pretty simple way to get people out and kind of engaged more with the businesses in the community. I think that one has been well received in a lot of towns across the state. Just something to think about. Another one that I saw that's a little bit more challenging to put together, but you know, might be something to think about if there's kind of a vacant space or a you know, that or a town-owned space, that you could do kind of a pop-up marketplace. So you bring in different retailers in the community, and they'll set up, you know, a table or just a section in the room where they're just selling some of their products, and that's kind of a fun event space, basically, where people can go and get familiar with the businesses. And even if it's a business that doesn't have a bricks and mortar location in town, maybe it's just someone making candles out of their home, and now they can go sell their products and you know, get some traction within the community. That's something that they did in the city of New London, and I think that was pretty well received, and they're definitely planning on doing that well beyond COVID. But that's just kind of another idea that some towns have been working on. So
I like that.
yeah.
Well, we have something similar to that once COVID is lifted. We have a strawberry festival that has a lot of crafters from our own hometown. And also the apple festival, which is a big draw as well. Once we get past this COVID issue, hopefully things will flourish, and that's a good place to promote.
I wonder,
and you know-
Christine, if we can expand that to include like the farmers market that happens on Fridays in the summertime. You know, have a section of the farmers market devoted to local local businesses and retailers and things of that nature that can show off their wares, not even necessarily food, but other services and whatnot.
Right.
Yep.
And then the other thing we could do too is as we have possibly restaurant week this year, okay, we could have the pop-up have the pop-up stores even you know, have a little display at that outside venue for restaurant week. You know, people are there, you know, having a nice dinner, having some drinks, you know, and they're looking at what they could also shop for. So that could be an opportunity for them too.
And I'll just add on you know, some of these like larger community events, I would make sure that you're in communication with the businesses. You know, for example, I've heard some events where the businesses actually struggle during these types of community events because maybe the roads are blocked off and they're customers can't get to park at their business, or whatever the situation might be. So I would say, as those types of events are coming up, make sure that you're talking with the businesses, at least in those geographical areas near where those events are, to make sure that they're feeling positively about the event. And if they're not, maybe say you should come, since you might have fewer customers, maybe you should come set up a booth at the event, and just encourage them to think about ways that it could be more positive for them. I don't know if that's an issue in your town, but it is an issue in some towns. So I would just make sure that you're talking with the business community about that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Mhm.
Good. Any other questions for Sadie?
I actually have a question. It's Christine. And I think where our businesses may need a little bit more of assistance, and this is the flip side of what Mary was saying, more of the social media aspect. A lot of the businesses do have Facebook and Instagram, but they don't know how to utilize it. And using social media, you have to be on it all the time, promoting your business, taking pictures, going in there, and just being in front of everybody. I mean, that's the tool of advertising this day and age. So how have other businesses, have they struggled, or have they reached out for help, or how are they putting their information up on the social media?
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge for a lot of businesses. And, obviously there's only so much that we as economic developers can do to, encourage them to be active in social media. I'll say a lot of chambers of commerce do these types of trainings or workshops on social media, or you might look to the Connecticut Small Business Development Center to help the businesses actually work on what it means to do good social media promotion for your business. But I think, as you said, you want to be doing regular postings. I've seen businesses that during COVID have done it's like every Tuesday night, this woman who owned a boutique would do a Facebook Live event where she would do like an auction of a bunch of different products from her store. And it became really popular. And she would get, almost like 100 people every Tuesday night who were excited to see what new items she had. And so, that's kind of a best practice for doing engagement through social media. But I certainly recognize that that is a challenge, but that is something that has to be on the business owners. And certainly you all should be, where there might be workshops or opportunities for the business owners to actually learn how to effectively use social media, definitely be pointing them to that. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Well, thank you so much, Sadie. We can't thank you enough for spending this evening with us to try to give us some good thoughts and picture frame some of the great ideas that we can help move our town forward with as well. So thank you very much. And
Yeah, of
you
course.
identified some of the challenges too, which is also very important for a successful venue.
Yeah, and let's keep in touch. I mean, I'm here to support Monroe, and if you have any other questions beyond this, happy to come back and chat with you, or just email me. I know Bill has my contact information, so I'm sure he can give it to you all. But I appreciate your continued partnership with us. One other thing I'll just plug here, that we recently have made our SiteFinder municipal membership free through Advanced CT. So SiteFinder is the commercial real estate platform that we run. It is dedicated to the state of Connecticut, and it is the most comprehensive database in the state, just dedicated to Connecticut. So would love, I don't know if Monroe already has a membership, but if not, I think that you guys should definitely get one. And you can list any town-owned properties on SiteFinder. Most of the brokers are already members, so any kind of broker represented properties in town are likely already on the site. But if there are maybe a few that aren't, you could also upload those with the permission of the property owners. So that's a great way for us as Advanced CT to know about what opportunities there are in Monroe as we're recruiting new businesses to the state and working with businesses that are expanding within the state.
Right.
That's a good way
No, that's
to
great. That's
involve with
great.
us. Mhm.
No, thank you. We will definitely take you up on that suggestion for sure. Thank you. Bill, we'll work on that.
Good.
Absolutely. That sounds like it gets updated automatically, Ray, like you and I were talking about the other day.
Right, right,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah, it's great because it's run by the brokers and property owners who have memberships. They maintain, their own properties, and when they're sold, they come down. And
Mhm,
so,
mhm.
we know that it's relatively up to date and
Fresh,
comprehensive.
yeah,
So,
right,
Can
right.
I link to that on our town webpage so that residents can go to it as well?
yeah, yep, yeah, you can definitely put the link to, and in fact, Bill, I'll just send you after this. I'll send you the link to where you can register and just to the kind of external facing platform that anyone could go to and look at what properties are available.
That'll be great.
Great.
I do it right now on a manual basis,
Yeah,
utilizing LoopNet and the MLS system
yeah,
and things of that nature. And it's a manual process on a
mhm,
daily basis to
yeah,
find those that are for sale, for lease,
right.
whether they're
Yeah,
vacant
this
buildings,
one's
vacant land.
easy to
It's,
use. Yeah,
yeah, it
definitely.
takes some time.
Yeah.
Great, great. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for that good news. Yeah, we will work on that.
great.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
already
thank
got a
you.
star next to it.
Yeah, that's right. Me
Perfect.
too. Yeah. All right, Sadie. Well,
Great.
again, thank you for spending our
Thank you
time,
for having
and we're sorry to keep you from your family.
me. No problem.
But we appreciate the good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
let's
Thank
keep in
you.
All right.
touch.
Thank you,
We will
Steve.
have you back again. Thank you, Sadie.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Have
Thank
a
you.
good night.
Say
Bye.
hello
Thank
to
you so
everyone
much.
for us.
Bye.
Yeah, that was great idea. Yeah, to have that privilege would be marvelous. So again, Lauren, thank you so much for organizing that for us. I think it sort of reaffirms some of the thoughts we've been doing and some of the activities we've had and how we can try to, move on to other opportunities, So I think that conversation was good.
Okay.
I want to keep moving on this agenda, so we're not going to keep everybody too late. Again, I don't have any specific order here. While we're on the same tone, if you don't mind, I'm going to skip down to our spring campaign, the March Madness. It's something that I'm encouraging us, and we'd like to take a vote on it tonight to participate in, because I just think it's a great opportunity for our town to showcase the kind of, businesses we have in our town. And this got created honestly through my chamber. Danielle Ronan is part of our chamber membership and belongs to another group, which is within the chamber itself, known as Power Network. She's a member of that subgroup of our chamber. And she came up with this great idea, and she hit me up on it to see if my bank wanted to sponsor some of these opportunities. And I'm not sure, we didn't actually send that out, did we? The March
So,
Madness.
Ray,
Yes,
I want to jump in here. I'm going to be real open about this. This has already
good.
been posted on the Monroe Sun. It's out to the public already that it's a chamber event and that it's hosted by Rowe and Associates, which is one of our businesses.
Right,
And I'm having some difficulty having the EDC now part of that when it's already out there, okay, that it's a chamber event, and that it's also one of the businesses, okay, is sponsoring it, okay.
right, right.
It didn't give the opportunity for any of the other businesses in Monroe to participate. So
Well,
I would
this is,
personally, well, let me finish, please. Okay, I would personally, okay, want to see maybe our efforts put more into our some type of an event that the EDC is going to give everybody a chance to participate in and put our stamp on it, as opposed to, you know, this is already out in the newspaper, okay? And it's already says it, that it's hosted by Rowan Associates, and it says it's sponsored, you know, by the chamber, and I'm not quite sure it's appropriate for us to come in now and join that, where, you know, we could take some of the money that we have left over in the budget for this year. And because if I'm looking at the budget correctly, there's almost $11,000 left to be spent through the end of June, and we could do something and come up with something very creative from the EDC that we could work with the businesses. And with that, I'm going to pause and ask anybody else if they want to voice their opinion about this.
All right. Well, let me just finish what I was saying then too, because what I wanted to do this. What we're going to do is actually get our logos, you know, the chamber logo on here as an overall sponsor, as well as economic development, because this does include all businesses in town that can participate. Because what this is going to do, as you may have seen, is talk about on a March Madness theme, which was her creation. So I have to give Danielle credit and kudos. I'm only going along with it because it's going to feature all the businesses of our town, from every business sector that you can see there: the pizzas, the nail salons, the burgers, the service, full service restaurants, the health and fitness providers, pet care services for all the groomers, dry cleaners. I mean, it doesn't miss too many, except I don't see banks here. But anyway, there's not too many that were missed. And so I think that this is going to bring a lot of, notoriety to a lot of the, service industries that we have up on the two corridors. So this is it hasn't even started yet. And again, I couldn't really put ourselves in here until we had a vote on this tonight because we hadn't had a meeting. But I also didn't want to wait till March to start to promote this for March 18th, because we had to, make sure that anyone who wanted to participate as far as sponsors to the businesses. And by the way, there's quite a few businesses already participating in town. This is going to be a great opportunity to showcase the kind of wonderful places that we're so fond of. So I think to put economic development logos, which are not here, and our chamber logos, which is not here, which is going to be part of this kind of flyer that you're looking at, is still has to be crafted. This was just to get the word out there about what's coming and to be on the lookout and to try to pre-sell those sponsorships, because they do cost $25, as you know. And I think there's only 3 left, actually, because all the businesses jumped all over this like crazy. So everything's sold out, which is great. So this could represent quite a few businesses already in town.
Ray, what do you mean by sold out? What businesses are, I mean, I don't understand. What businesses, who reached out to all these businesses that they're going to participate?
We didn't do any reaching out. They actually called into Danielle. Once they saw this in the Monroe Sun, they called out to Danielle and started signing up for their $25.
So how many businesses?
Cost.
So
Right,
how many businesses have signed up already?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have all the listing. I mean, I didn't get that from Danielle yet, but I did see that she sent me an email that seems like there's only 3 spots left right now. So every day businesses are going to be promoted.
So Ray, I'm sorry, but I'm really confused on this. If there's only 3 spots left, how many spots were there in total? If it was open to the whole community, I mean, we have how many businesses? There's 14 categories. So are we saying that like 500 responses are already in?
I don't think it's no. I don't think it's 500. Yeah. So basically what it is that the sponsorship is to have their logos on here for these categories, but all businesses are going to participate. So when you go to your favorite pizza shop, of the 15 pizza shops you have in town, all of them are going to have the opportunity, because of this hype, to get a lot more foot traffic and a lot more votes from the residents. So this is going to go on all social media platforms that there is. As you've read on Monroe Sun. Did you read the whole thing?
I didn't see all that. I didn't know that. Ray, may I ask a question, please?
Sure.
What if the vote is that, you know, we go ahead and we support this as EDC, what is it that that EDC is being asked to do to support this?
Well, basically, we were just going to, use some of our budget, which was a total of $350 we were suggesting, to help with getting a lot of the marketing and media out there to let, everyone know that this is what's going on in Monroe. It's just to be, really to hype it up and to get it to be the novelty. As you know, everything is about novelty. Novelty sells. This is a novel idea that none of the other towns, and you didn't hear Shady talk about something like this at all, because this is quite unique and different, which I gave Danielle a lot of credit for. And I said, would you mind if we sponsored it with your, because it's her business that she's trying to do this through. She's a very, community-minded individual, if you know Danielle. Anyway, I said, geez, you're doing all the heavy lifting here. If we could support this by giving her some money to do some more marketing and to boost it on social media, those things cost money to do, so that we could bring other folks in from from the other towns to come and participate in this thing if they wanted to, and then throw votes out there for all of these different type of businesses. I just think that it was a great concept to be a novel idea, to give awareness to the kind of businesses we have and to the magnitude of how many we do have. So it can't hurt anybody. All it's going to do is help drive business to these businesses. And that's what we need to be doing. That's what EDC is all about, is trying to do that. So there's actually no work that's required of this commission, except that we're going to sponsor for $350. On top of that, I've also talked to Danielle about doing something else in spring, like in the latter April timeframe, of something like this, because I think what we've lacked, as we've all agreed, is the social media presence. So you see, where do I see it? The actual website, the social media platform she's going out to, Monroe Neighbors. I don't even know if I have it in front of me. Yeah, so it's going out to all of those different type of
Resident
social media.
parents, Monroe moms, I shop.
Yeah.
I guess
So
I haven't seen any of that, so I wasn't familiar with all the places that
yeah.
it was going.
So
Okay.
that's why I was trying to present that tonight, because our logo for the Monroe Economic Development will be front and center on all of these social sites, because I guarantee you that same audience looking at all those different social sites have never seen our Monroe Economic Development logo on that. So from a brand recognition about what this team is trying to accomplish, I think they'll be forefront of what we're trying to do. And there really isn't a whole lot of legwork we have to do, because it's being captured by Danielle's IT knowledge to grab all of this, and she's going to calibrate all the responses and then be able to designate the winners and so forth. And it's just going to be a little bit of a hype while it's cold and yucky out there. This is a nice little breath of fresh air about some activities that are actually proactive.
So, but Ray, it's getting back to that, this is a chamber event, okay? That because there's no participation then from the EDC on it. And I think
Well, there's no
what Lauren,
participation. There's no
there's a
participation in the chamber either.
I'm sorry, but there's a participation. I look it. I saw it because I saw it in the Monroe Sun. Okay,
Right,
there was
right.
no discussion. It was sponsored by the chamber, hosted by Danielle. Do I think
Well,
it's a good idea? Absolutely. Okay, but to put the EDC mark on it, okay, I think there's more that we can do to help the businesses. Okay.
Oh no, that's for sure. That's
just,
right.
Then
But
just
until we
drop our
figure out,
name on 'em.
right, but before we can, while we're figuring that out, this will be already up and running, while in tangent with the great ideas that we can put together for the next project. So we could have multiple projects going on at one time. If we had 7 projects, I would be tickled pink.
But it's not an EDC project, Ray.
No, but we can make it an EDC project.
How are okay? So you just said that we don't have to do anything. Okay.
Right, right.
I've asked on the last 2 calls. Okay, please let me know what we can do. Okay, and
Right.
nobody okay has reached out. Okay, and when we come to these
Well,
meetings, oh, hold on a second. And we come to these meetings, and then we get told about things that are happening that we can't even, that we haven't even had the opportunity to participate in.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to bring this today, because we didn't have our meeting earlier this month. So I said, well, it's getting kind of late. I said, let me just present this as an opportunity, because it accomplishes everything that the EDC wants to do. And the only thing I'm trying to do is get our logo out there for the economic development, so that people realize that we are doing things that are proactive. Because otherwise, we don't have anything going on. We did, talk about the videos. I'm not sure how many videos people have come up with since the last meeting. But if you can forward those to us, we would love to put them on social media with Bill's efforts and Christine's efforts to get them to go live. I'm not sure if anybody turned any in. Did anybody have any videos that they did of their local businesses that we were supposed to do? So that was one of the projects from last month that we talked about. Let's do videos to try to promote certain storefronts, because they're not going to be able to do that themselves. That was one of the initiatives that I thought we were going to try to execute on. I know Christina's done a few for sure, and we have tried to do that. I'm not. Oh, Herman joined us. Welcome, Herman. I'm sure you're saying hello back. I know that's what you're saying. So we thank you for that.
All right, so Ray, can I just confirm here, because I want to make sure. So
Go
what
ahead.
we're being asked to do is approve a $350
Expenditure.
EDC budget.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it
And
sounds
that's,
like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. That's really all our obligation would be, so that we could become the major sponsor of economic development in concert with the chamber, with the good ideas that Danielle had, to be, collaborating together to, do some novel ideas in our town to drive business and make awareness of all the diverse businesses we have with their logos, with their names. And it's going to be splashed all over 7 or 8 of those social media outlets that I think we have no experience with. So I think that if we can get on there, that is the first thing to do, is sell the fact that economic development is doing something and trying to get some attention to the fact that we're endorsing these kinds of wonderful deeds that are out there being accomplished. That's all. So it's now if you guys want to come up with some other additional ideas that we want to do at the same time, or new ideas, by all means, we'd love to hear them and execute.
I've got something that I was thinking about that actually I was thinking about the last meeting, and then I talked to someone about to just kind of run it by them, but kind of along the idea of what we were talking about with the videos. And then I have to be honest, I was reminded of it when Sadie said something. But I talked to 2 restaurant owners, and I understand that we have businesses beyond restaurants in town, so I get that part.
Right.
But I talked to both of them, and like, what about doing something like like one person, Sam from Carl Anthony's, he would do a cooking lesson, choose something to make and maybe post a video and say that maybe whether it was a Facebook Live or whether it was, however it was, I'm not the expert on social media, but whether, something like that. So I didn't know if anybody had any thoughts on something like that and how we can execute it.
Right.
And then the other thing I was wondering about is restaurant week. I mean, is it time to start, since the weather's getting nicer? Can we start planning something and maybe look forward to June and pray for a nice week? So those are the things that I was kind of thinking about. And I know it's
No,
all
that's good, and those are good thoughts.
I apologize. But the cooking lesson thing, I was reminded by. I should have brought it up ahead of time, so my apologies for that.
No,
Lauren,
that's a good thought.
The other thing I was thinking of, Ray, and I don't want to jump to the budget, but if we have this $10,690 left in this year's budget, that
Right.
have the opportunity to spend this to the end of June, how can we reach out to the businesses? And I'll be glad to start making phone calls if we all split it up. There's businesses out there that don't know how to put a Facebook page together or don't know how to put some type of social media together. And why can't we go and hire, some company, okay, that will help them, okay, put something together so that they can promote their business.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit, I agree with you, except the only thing is I'm afraid of a slippery slope there, because what if all of a sudden the 700 businesses all want that help? $11,000 doesn't go far with that kind of work being done by these kind of social engineers. It doesn't go very far.
Well,
And I'm not sure
so you don't
if we
have to
can.
go, okay, so you don't have to go to, each one doesn't have, a company doesn't have to go and do it for each individual. They can make a general template out. We could hire them to make a general template or 2 templates, and then as part of the EDC, we could distribute that template to the business, okay, and let the business then play around with it. What the businesses are struggling with is how to start it and kick it off. So if we
Right.
can give a tool, okay, if we can give them a roadmap tool and say, here's a template, okay, that's been created, one for a restaurant, one for a store, okay, hire a company to go and put this together, and then we distribute it to the businesses, and we say to the businesses, fill it out, put your information about what Lauren was doing with autumn in the fall in Monroe, where the businesses were to display something unique about their business so that we could post it on Facebook, okay? And the reason we didn't have such a big turnout is because they didn't know how to do it. They didn't know where to get started from.
Yeah, that's what we
And
identified. Absolutely.
I see this money, okay? I see this money sitting here, and it's like, wow, let's take advantage of it, and let's actually help a business put together something that they can go and sell themselves with.
Well, I agree with that. It sounds like a good idea, maybe you could research that for us and see what companies will do it for what cost with what you're describing. And then we can come back together as a group and see if there's a way we can make this money go far enough and wide enough so that no one feels like they were slighted, though. It can't be just a first come, first serve, and we end up with the first 7 using up $6,000 and the rest are going to sit there saying, well, we didn't get a chance at that, So I think we have to be careful about being what would be perceived as prejudice or the fact that, it's not for the good of all. It's only for the good of the fast or the ones that are not sleeping or whatever you want to describe it as. So I would be cautious about the fact that that's going to come off.
Well, I'm going to look into that.
Go ahead, look into that and see what you come up with. Right. And then
I have a suggestion there, Mary, and I'm sorry, Ray, but I get emails from the Fairfield County, from the SBA and from the Fairfield County Women's Business, whatever it is.
Yes.
And they run seminars all the time, and I believe that they do some on social media. So maybe rather than us developing it to begin with, we could find out when they are doing something, and we could promote that to the businesses so that they could then sign on to this, onto the webinar on whatever day, it's being held. Maybe we can, and I'm happy to call them or, if you want to, whatever, to find out if they do conduct any webinars like that. And that kind of, we can just act as the intermediary rather than developing it from the ground up.
Right. I mean, I think that's we certainly should do that anyway, right? We try to keep all of our businesses informed on all kinds of programs and those PPP loans, like Sadie was saying, and so forth. We keep them as well informed as we can. I don't know who's going on and looking at these sites to find out that the information is there. And to what Mary's saying is, and I agree with her, is that we don't have a lot of savvy businesses that even if you were to give them that web, that, and we ought to do it. So I'm not saying we shouldn't. We certainly need to embrace as much as we can to help these poor people. But I don't know. I think what Mary's describing is accurate, is the fact that we don't have a lot of savvy business owners, real savvy with social media. So even if they get this wonderful coaching from that women's group about how to do social media, they still don't even know where to go click and drag and find and post and submit and all that stuff. So I have a feeling that experience of learning that is great, but I'm not sure that's going to make them go to the next step and say, okay, tomorrow morning I'm in now because I went to learn that.
Lauren,
if I could add to that, please. If I could add to that too, please, as Christine. a lot of the businesses, it's not just understanding the social media, it's maintaining it and continually, it's a
Right.
everyday process. They have to go on, they have to go post something. I don't know how savvy everyone is, but if you go to an Instagram account, someone that's very active, actually one of our former members of the EDC, Dave Cubid, he puts out on his restaurant every day, and there's hashtags and there's different things that
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
now there is also, there's help out there. It's just a matter of getting people to do it, that have the time, that are on social media, that's all they do. And a lot of times it's the young people that can probably assist us in that department.
But you're right, Lauren. If we could help educate somebody, and if only a handful decide that that's what the motivation is for them, or the catalyst to get them to go forward on social media, oh, that's a home run. I mean, that's really all we can do. So I agree with you. We really should give them those tools to try to learn how to go forward. You know, so maybe Lauren, if you can find those dates, we could publish them.
Okay.
So what, Ray, this is Mary again. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna look for, okay, I'm gonna do some research and some homework for a company or somewhere where they can develop some templates of what a Facebook entry or a Facebook page would look like. And I'm not saying that they have to post it themselves. They could send it into the EDC, and we could post it on the EDC Facebook page too.
Yeah, but all right, but we need people to do that too, because we don't have really many resources.
But we
I'm just
have,
saying.
if I may say something, and I was on before, you just didn't see my face. I was in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't see anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But we have already been down this road before, where we have extended out, you know, send EDC whatever you have, any of your events. Like, I've actually gone around, and some of the restaurants and businesses that I patronize, I've offered. I was like, if you have any events whatsoever, if there's anything that we could announce, this is through the Board of Tourism, the Connecticut Board of Tourism. They are thirsty, they are hungry for content. Give me anything and everything you have, and they will run it up. We're talking about, this is on an official Connecticut site and all of the social media platforms. Not one person has taken advantage of that. And this is free publicity. All you have to do is
Statewide.
yeah, statewide.
Right. Right.
And it doesn't have to be a tourist type of thing either. Honestly, if you're a restaurant, I know that we always talk about restaurants, but if you're doing something different, if you're offering a certain special, anything that's going to be dry, if you're offering something unique, you know, all you have to do is just take a simple photo. Everyone has an iPhone. Nobody has any excuses. And for all the years I've been on EDC, I have tried to help so many local businesses, but they're all lazy. And I hate to say that, but they literally want everything done for them. So what, are you expecting me to take the photo and the video too? I asked you for one simple thing, a 60-minute video, or just a simple photo with a brief description. I'll take care of the rest. And nothing.
So
Nothing.
then Herman, this is Mary. So
Hi, Mary.
then this event that's being sponsored by the chamber and, you know, Rowan Associates, okay?
Mhm.
If all these businesses and you know, restaurants have signed up for this, that's in contradiction to what you just said, right?
Well, no, because there's really nothing for them to do. They don't have to do
No,
anything.
it says, as a sponsor, a business's contact information and logo will be displayed.
Right.
So
That's what they have to do, is give them a logo. Yeah, they can just have to give them a logo.
She can run out and get she can take their logo and put it on there. They don't necessarily need to provide it.
Right. So there really is nothing for them to do, which is why for $25, they're willing to get their logos out there on all those social media sites, just like I'm saying we ought to do it for EDC, to let them know of our ability.
So what I'm trying to do here is just remind everyone that there is this other multiple platforms, and this is through the official state of Connecticut. This isn't like some organization. We're talking about the state of Connecticut
Right,
here, you know.
right. No, I agree. I know, Herman. We've had this conversation many times. I know.
Okay, so now I'm really confused about how this chamber thing is going to work, because day one is pizza. Okay, so let's say there's 10 pizza shops in Monroe,
Right.
and you're saying that they're all good. So they're going to select, they're going to vote. People are going to vote, and they're going to select one pizza parlor to be their favorite. But then it says that the winner, okay, what does that pizza shop get? Nothing, right? It just
Recognition.
gets free advertisement.
Right, they get recognition, right.
They
That's
get
all.
free advertisement, okay?
That's right.
But
That's right.
then all the people who voted that
Right.
day
Right,
get put into a drawing.
that's correct.
And that person who wins the drawing that day
That's
gets
correct.
a $25 gift card from
That's
whatever
correct.
pizza place or any
That's right.
business.
No, any
Or
pizza place that they want to go to, not just the winner. Right. So if they want to go to,
So it's
Right.
just the 10. So on day one, okay, the pizza
Mm-hmm.
place that wins gets the recognition.
right,
All the people who voted for the pizza places,
right,
one person from that gets a $25 gift card from one of those pizza places, because the way
whichever, yeah, any one of their choices. The winner gets the choice. So if McGowan's was the winner and they like Bella Rosa's better, they can get a $25 gift to Bella Rosa, because they're entitled to having a wonderful feast on the organizations wherever they'd like to go. We're not going to force you to go to McGowan's, even though they were the winner. You can go to anywhere you'd like for your family. That's correct.
Okay, so why, Ray, can I make another suggestion then? Okay, why put the burden on the businesses to give the $25 gift card? If you want EDC to be a sponsor of this, why can't EDC take $25 times there's 14 days
Right.
and actually donate that $25 and not put the burden on the
Yep.
business to give it? And then EDC is really doing something for it, because we have the money in the budget. We have the money in the budget.
$350.
Well,
that
what we're doing this week with
No, it's $25 a day. There's 14, Bill. I've got it right here. There's
I
14
understand. No.
days.
14 times 25 is $350, which is what Ray was recommending that we submit for this event.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
he didn't.
Is that
So
right,
then
Ray?
no, he said the $350 was for advertisement, not to give the gift card.
Well, yes,
So to
it's going to be
partner-
promoting the
to
event.
partner with
Right,
this.
right.
So then don't let the businesses
So
give
that's
the
gonna-
$25. They don't
No, the
have
businesses have no problem with that. They're already, like I said, there's only 3 spots left to be sold, and I think they're already sold anyway. So the business had no problem with the $25 because they realize the value of a $25 bill to get on 7 different social media sites.
Ray,
So-
I'm sorry, but I'm confused. You keep saying that these spots are sold. What did they sell for?
$25.
And where's that money going?
That's where the gift certificates are coming from.
Okay, so you got 10 businesses, okay?
Yep.
In pizza. Take day one. Okay?
Right.
Take day one. I'm sorry, but this isn't making sense to me. You got 10 businesses in day
Right.
one for pizza. So they got 10 businesses times $25 is $250 each.
No.
pizza
There's
place-
only one sponsor that's going to be on the paperwork, on the announcement. That's what Danielle said. And what that means is that all the businesses are going to participate by having the visitors go out and rave and rant on all these social media sites about the McGowans, the Bella Rosas, the Captains, and so forth and so on. And Carl Anthony's. So all of the recognition will be all over social media about who's bragging about which organization, first, second, and third. So
Captain's left about 15 years ago.
What?
who did?
Captain's Pizza is gone. They
Oh,
left.
that's
like,
right too. That's right. Yeah, I forgot
But
about
I like
that.
I like where your memories are, Ray.
Thank you.
Ray, Bill, help me. I'm just struggling with reading how this is going to work. Again, day one, is pizza day. So when you say the businesses, the pizza parlors that signed up, they're not giving any money up
No,
front.
there's nobody has to sign up. Everybody's participating. So in other words, who are you gonna vote for your favorite pizza, Mary, for that day? Which
Well,
one are you
okay.
gonna throw in there?
Okay,
Who are
but,
you voting
but,
for?
but the communication that went out says, as a sponsor, a business contact information or logo
That's
will
for
be
the sponsor,
displayed in that
right?
day's category.
That's for
Okay,
that's
day
for the
one is pizza. Okay,
Right.
10 pizza parlors will tell
Right.
Danielle that they want to sign up for this.
no,
Correct?
no. Everybody's in. There's nobody signing up for anything. Basically, Union Savings Bank will sponsor the pizza day. So my logo is going to go on there for that day as being the sponsor of the favorite pizza on March 18th. Okay, but all pizza shops are participating by the fact that you're going to go on there and brag about how best that pizza was at McGowan's or wherever you're going to brag about.
Okay, so
Herman's going to say
okay.
that he loves Bella Rosa's more, so he's going to brag about that. Eventually, that's how the winner becomes chosen as to who gets the most votes at having the best pizza place in town.
I'm not following this.
Okay.
It keeps changing. Okay.
No,
I'm sorry,
it hasn't
but
changed at all.
it's changing. Okay, so pizza day. Take day one. Just walk me through it.
Okay, Unions, I'm
Take
gonna say
Right.
Union Savings is sponsoring it for $25. We pay $25 for pizza day. All that does is mean that Union Savings is gonna get their logo on that day from when she promotes all that stuff, that we were the sponsor of pizza day.
Okay,
But all the,
that does not say that in here.
okay, well,
That
that's
does
how
not
it
say
works.
that.
Okay, yeah,
That's not saying, okay.
all right.
So,
And then,
okay, so then all the
and
pizza parlors, okay, in town, Danielle's gonna post it up on all these Facebook pages.
right,
People are gonna vote. And
right,
then when they vote, okay, that pizza parlor will,
he
on
declared the winner.
pages, it's gonna be displayed that, Carl
Right.
Anthony's or whatever won the
Right,
pizza,
right,
okay?
right, right.
Then there's gonna be a name
A
draw
drawing,
for everybody that voted. That
correct,
$25, the way it's written here, says it's gonna come, okay, from a pizza parlor that the person chose. So
that's right.
that pizza parlor would have to give the $25.
No, Union Savings $25 sponsorship paid for that gift certificate to Mrs. Jones, who wants to go eat at Bella Rosa's.
So who are the other sponsors for nail salon and burger and everything else?
Yeah, I don't know exactly all the sponsors. That's what she's coordinating. All of the businesses in Monroe are doing. I know Irene's is doing it. I think People's Bank is doing it. There's all kinds of sponsors for that privilege. This is only to get a lot of hype over all the different type of business
So when
types.
you're saying, so when you said earlier that only 3 spots were not reserved yet, I
Right,
think
Hey,
what you're
Ray.
trying to say is that of the 14 days, there were 11
right.
businesses that were going to sponsor
Committed.
one of these
That's
days.
correct. That's correct.
Okay, that's entirely different than what we were talking about at the beginning. Okay,
I
so
don't know
then
what we're talking about in the beginning, yeah.
I was reading what was
Okay,
published, okay?
yep,
So then
okay,
so then if Union Bank is going to give $25
right,
and somebody else is going to give the $25 for the nail salon, what
right.
is the EC 350 for? Because Bill, it's not the
It's
$25
for, like I was
times
saying,
14.
no, here's what it is.
That's
So the
already covered
350,
by something else.
the 350 is going to do a lot of the advertising. So we're going to be advertising the same thing on different outlets between social media, and boosting, on social media, which costs you $25, whatever it costs to do that. On top of Monroe Sun, we're going to put ads in the Monroe Sun that's actually going to hype this up. This was just an announcement, a press release. And then, we can go out to other venues to spend, some money on trying to get this done. $350 doesn't go far with marketing, as you know.
Hey, Ray, it's James Goldstein. Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
I I will write the check for $350 out of my own pocket just so we could move on to something else for this for tonight. This is a phenomenal idea. It really is. For $350, it's brand awareness for us, for the EDC.
Exactly,
I think Danielle is
exactly.
doing a phenomenal. She's doing a phenomenal job, and I understand where Mary's coming from. It's hard to visualize and understand it when it's not fully being presented in the whole, because it was in the Sun and it is on Facebook, and it is going to be a good thing to help, with some of the businesses in town. I think for $350, I think to get our logo out there, I think it's very, very well worth it. It is a social media thing, and I think it's going to get a lot of hype. And people's bank is on this. We definitely should be on it. I mean, I think we should just, make a motion and kind of vote on this.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so.
Jim, this is Mary.
Hi, Mary.
It is a good idea. My issue was it wasn't presented properly, okay? And
I agree with
EDC
you.
gets in at the back end. So let's take a vote on it and let's move on, because there's other things on the agenda, like the $11,000 that we have to spend and how we can spend it to really help these businesses.
Right.
So I make a motion to take a vote to put the EDC on it and give the $350. But I would like to see a detailed, okay, of how that $350 is being spent, either through Bill, and I know Bill Bitter is on, okay, whether it's going toward the Monroe Sun or how it's being spent.
Right. Yep. No, we would definitely do that. Yep. Absolutely. Of course we will. There'll be a breakdown at the end of the project, of course, for that. But yes, as a matter of fact, for that same 350, Danielle's already agreed to do one in late April for the same kind of initiative, but with a much different spin to it. So really, it's 175 for this one and 175 for April. Later.
Right. Now you're changing it again. The three.
No, I said that at the beginning. There's another one that she wants to do.
God.
Yes. So for the 350, we're going to have two major events that's going to happen between March and April, which has again, there's nothing that we're going to have to work on ourselves, but it will be giving us the opportunity to sponsor a lot of businesses and show that we are, a lead force in trying to help promote all the business.
I'm going to make a motion to, if there's a second one coming, could we collectively be participants in this to understand what
Great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This came up very suddenly. Yeah, Danielle was already out in front of this, and I said to her, maybe we should collaborate together. And so this is already all formulated. And again, just because we had a late meeting this month, I couldn't bring it out earlier. But she didn't want to waste time trying to get this on the streets for the approval of this group here that's in front of us. So I said, no, I understand why you're trying to go swiftly, because March 18th is going to be here before we know it. So that's what happened.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's Lauren. You just mentioned April, and you said that all the spots are sold out for March. Are the spots sold out for April? And
No. That hasn't even been formulated yet. So we will have a lot more information on that, and we can help formulate that, and you can help run with that. Absolutely. It's not even gelled as to what that might even be.
So that more businesses would be given the opportunity.
Right.
Right. Okay. I think that's good.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. So that's not even on the radar at all right now. I'm just letting you know that you don't get anything for 350, and if she's willing to do this two different major events for our town, I applaud her efforts. That's all, and trying to support her. And we can take some heed in the fact that we're helping out. That's all.
Okay, so I make a motion that we take a vote that we contribute $175 out of the EDC current budget to support that, and then the next event that we collectively work together and the announcement goes out together, and that we discuss
Right.
how much we need to go forward with.
Right. Exactly. Okay. How about a second to that?
I second
This
it.
is James Goldstein. I'll make a second.
Thank you so much. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Very good. All right. No, thank you for that. I think, like I said, this is going to be great for our town. It's going to give us quite a bit of hype, and we'll have some good results there for sure. Okay. Thank you for that good dialogue. Let's move on with the agenda now. the next item we can go over is the budget then, if you'd like to. As you can see, or maybe you didn't see, I'm not sure if you received this yet, but basically this year, as you know, has been a horrible year to do an awful lot of events because of COVID. So we have a budget of $11,050, of which we didn't really get to use much of it because of our circumstances. So what Mary is talking about is that we do have extra funds here between now and June, and hopefully things will open up between now and June, that we can participate with some activities to help some of these businesses go forward. The business broker venue, which we usually use up at Whitney Farms, is something we can entertain, come fall, I guess, maybe August, September, July. I mean, we'll see what the availability is for them if they're still meeting live. We don't know when that's going to be, So it's still hard to say that, which is the actual next year's budget. What can we do between now and June is a different story. I don't think we'll be able to do too much. It's already March in a couple of hours from now. So how much is going to open up between March, 1st and June 30th? One never knows. But it doesn't sound like we're going to go to full boat, open kimono processes. So, I mean,
So Ray, okay, I have the budget in front of me, okay?
Go ahead.
And I have it of what was put in. So for this year, for the
Yes.
budget year ending June 30th, 2021,
Right.
we were allotted $11,800.
300.
We have spent, okay, through December, 1,110. I'm sure we didn't spend anything in January or February because we still had COVID. Okay.
Right.
So we didn't do a restaurant week, and
Right.
we didn't do the broker event because of COVID.
Right.
So that 10,690, if we don't spend that, first of all, what happens? Where does that money go back? Does it go back into the town?
Yeah, it's the general fund, right? It goes back to it would go back just like any budget within the town. It's not utilized.
Okay. So let me jump ahead. If I look at the 21-22 budget,
Right.
that same amount now is $11,050.
Right.
And there's a breakdown, okay, of how it is anticipated to be spent.
Correct.
EDC brochures, 1,000, this networking, 1,375, the restaurant week, and the broker event, okay? It may be too hard to get, could we have, okay, let me first ask this. Could we have in June, okay, some type of an event with the restaurants or the businesses, okay, that we could spend some of that 10,690 we have left, and then also still do another restaurant week in the fall, which will go into the next year's budget, which we
Right.
talked about maybe doing some type of an Oktoberfest or something
Right.
outside. But
Right.
it would be a shame not to use that money, that 10,690, when the businesses need help. And Bill, is there anything through your, day-to-day dealings with the businesses where they would need help through brochures or something, or some type of marketing that we could deploy that money in their behalf?
So the marketing efforts that we have pursued thus far are social media marketing campaigns. So it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's Twitter. Those are the types of marketing programs that we pursue. We don't necessarily go out and do any print ads. We do spend some money with the Monroe Sun. Ray has spent some money to help with the advertising on that platform. But as far as I know, and somebody can correct me if I misspeak, but the Monroe Sun is published relatively daily, and it's on Facebook for anybody that likes to read it. So I
Right.
know that we've spent some money there to help with the advertising for all of our businesses.
So why can't we reach out to the businesses, ask them if they've got anything new promotions that they want us to update, and we can reach out to Bill and get it posted in the Monroe Sun. Could we also capitalize, and I took some notes, okay, from Sadie, this, shop local again. I know we had some signs made and I know they're down again. Could we use some of that 10,690 minus the 175 that we're now going to deploy, okay, and have some bigger signs made up, okay, bigger signs, and put them in the shopping strip malls about shopping local. Okay, Easter's coming up, and people are going to be, start being out and really start advertising, strip mall by strip mall. Or could we even think about, and I really liked her idea about the, working with a couple of the, working with the diners, and I think we only really have the one diner, okay, in town, about putting some of these businesses, and maybe we do a different placemat a week, okay, because people go to the diner and they sit and they look at, oh, this place is there, that place is there, and we actually promote some of our businesses.
Well, there's companies that actually do that for their business model, where they go out and sell those ads, and then they give the diners the free placemats. That's how that's done. But they charge a lot of money for each of those little squares because it's there for months and months and months, because they give them box loads of these free, paper thin placemats. That's how I know that works. So if you're going to try to create, it's a lot of work to try to create that item, because of, if you know about printing, and trying to, get the right fonts and the right, color matches and everything else, or you're going to do just black and white. It's an expensive proposition for any kind of real printing. I mean, you can blow thousands of dollars doing that alone. And who's going to do all the typesetting? Who's going to do all the proofing and all that sort of thing? It's quite an undertaking. Yes, we can do it. If you want, we can try to run with that. But I know there's companies that actually are built around that exact model.
I think you need special software programs to be able to put that out on a page that makes it look aesthetically pleasing. I don't think you can do that in a simple Word file or in a
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
It's a real print job. Yeah.
It probably goes through that $10,918
Yeah.
like that. And we don't even get the software installed or trained on it or anything like that for a one-time event. Seems to me to not be the best use of those assets. And I'd also like to understand what the payback is. So
Yeah, because we're gonna have to put all the business.
trying to figure out why we would be in such a rush to spend $10,000 or more on ideas that we haven't done any real analysis on what the payback is. I mean, it just kind of goes against the entire concept of financial management and business management.
Well, again,
so I'm putting on my so Bill, I'm putting on my finance hat, okay, and I agree that there has to be a payback and there has to be an analysis done, but there's $11,000 sitting on the table and the businesses are hurting, okay, and what I'm suggesting is to come up is to quickly put our thinking caps on, and how can we use some of that money, okay, because
right.
it's for the town and it's for the businesses, and how can we help the businesses promote their services and their products? And I don't have that answer right at the tip of my head right now, but there's money on the table and we need to help the businesses.
Understood.
Okay, so so my question is, again, is there anything particular that when you've been dealing with the businesses, because I know you've been dealing with, helping them with their PPPs, and that's fantastic and all that, but is there something else that you can think of that they might need that we can utilize that for?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Bill, may I ask, I apologize that maybe I should know the answer, but I don't. If that money isn't spent by June 30th in the fiscal year, what happens to it? Does it roll over or does
No,
it?
it goes back to the town coffers.
Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And again, I think we have to keep in mind that whenever we do a project for EDC, it's really for the betterment of all businesses in town, which is why we do the restaurant week for all restaurants and so forth. So to just try to, we have to be careful that we don't, only think about 2 dozen versus 7 dozen
Right.
versus, 15 dozen, because that's really our we don't want to be criticized that we're not giving everyone the same opportunity. So we have to be careful how we posture ourselves and think of programs that are successful for the entire business community, not just any one sector or whatever. I don't know,
Hey, Ray, James here. I have a question.
Yes.
Could we kind of, I love Restaurant Week. I always love it, Monroe. Could we take that money, and instead of just trying to see what sticks out there, could we use that money for Business Week instead of Restaurant Week? Could we do a Business Week for every business in Monroe and come up with a game plan? Something like, Rowan's been doing, and she's been great. Pinto on Facebook is another really good person, does a lot in town, always these great creative things with the tiara and stuff like that. And kind of do a business week and whole, and do stuff like that. And, if we lose some of the money back to the general fund this year, I guess that's where it'll have to go. But could we kind of look at coming up with something like that? The one thing I think we've all come to some agreement here is social media is very powerful, because if you just look what we're doing with this one thing with Rowan, how she puts it on social media, and so does the Monroe Sun, and it just takes off. It really does. So that could be something if we kind of work and all team together, and let's do a business week, and let's do it in April, May. Granted, the governor has, released restrictions. We're starting to do gatherings now. Crowds are starting to get back to, normal. I heard a couple of people say vaccines are, people getting their vaccines. So, that could be maybe a thing that we do this year with part of our budget.
Right. No, I agree.
Thank you.
Except we just have to come up with the format that would be something that we can embrace and be successful with. So I don't know what that format would be. Is it, what is it going to look like for all businesses, which is a great concept, of course. But is it going to be go visit all of our local businesses, and how do we promote that?
So Ray,
Just like American Express does.
Ray, this is Mary again. You said that Danielle had a second phase that she was going to jumpstart.
Right.
Do we understand what that second phase is, and maybe we could collectively, the two organizations,
Oh, absolutely.
look at how to expand that,
Yeah,
and not just to a restaurant week in June, but to what Jim said, do something for all the businesses and use some of that money to help them along.
We certainly can. We can invite her to our next meeting, in March, and have her as a guest speaker, and we can certainly work it out that evening to try to figure out what that process and program would look like, so that we hit all these marks that we're trying to attain. That's no problem. She would enjoy that, actually.
What if we did, I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head here. I don't know if I'm not sure where we are with Restaurant Week, because I don't know that we've made a decision one way or the other, but, and I like Jim's idea of, we are always here to promote all businesses, and the restaurants do get much of our attention. But what if we did do a Restaurant Week and there was some kind of buddy system set up, like with a restaurant, you partner with something that, a non-competitor. Let's just say the Mason Jar. And during Restaurant Week, one day during Restaurant Week, the Mason Jar, whoever your buddy is that isn't your direct competitor, comes to your restaurant with a display table or some kind of information promoting their business, so that neither, would that kind of double our efforts? I know it won't get everyone, but I don't know. It's just kind of running through my head. Haven't given a lot
It's a
of
good thought.
Bring it out there.
Yeah. Like when the banks used to put up a display table of one of their businesses that they're sponsoring or featuring, in other words, so we used to always have those in the lobbies of all the local banks. They used to do that to demonstrate one of their customers, so here's the guy who does Dr. Smith, who's the chiropractor. He had a little display up on a 6-foot table in the lobby demonstrating his pamphlets and something about the back and a skeletal system. So you'd show that off in the bank lobby so that when people were in line, back when you used to have lines, they would see, oh, I'm going to go see that Dr. Smith. Looks like he knows what he's talking about. So you're saying the same thing. Right. No, it's a good idea. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that might work.
Where are we with Restaurant Week then? I mean, are we?
Well,
is
we
that on
usually
the table? Is it off the
no.
table?
Restaurant Week is still alive and well. It is something we always seem to do more like in September, October, as a rule, has always been our Restaurant Week with most of the towns who do Restaurant Weeks in the fall, September and October. So it's sort of part of our next year's budget, if you will, unless we want to do something now again. But I think Jim's on the right track about having all businesses participate would be even a better success story, I think. But again, everything's up for discussion.
Well, Jim, your all business idea is certainly a good one, but do you have any vision of how we could implement that? I mean, I'm just thinking, would we need some type of venue in order to promote that? And I'm not sure that we have a venue or.
Yeah, the one thing that I was just trying to look for really quickly on my phone, I know Mike and Nino and everybody else is a part of it. It's promote Monroe businesses. And I always mispronounce her name, Delvana. I can't pronounce her name. I do apologize. I'm trying to find it right now. But she always does a promote Monroe business, and all the businesses go on there. I've been on there for either my real estate end or for my DJ end, and I always comment, or people always, put local plumbers and everybody else. And I think, kind of doing something like that, like, I think on our social media type presence, and we talked about it last time with doing Instagram, kind of targeting that market. I like the buddy system. I think that's a phenomenal idea. Again, we're here to bring awareness to Monroe. I would even try to step outside the box and try to, do stuff with, in Trumbull, Shelton, on those other social media platforms as far as trying to get people to come into our town. How many times do you see New Haven? They always do Restaurant Week down there, and people always go there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. We try to do it
No, you're right.
to try to get people to come in.
And that's when we start talking about advertising. We do go up to the Newtown B. We'll spend some money there with them, trying to bring the Newtowners and Sandy Hook down to us. And the voices that goes out to the, to those Trumbull, Monroe, Southbury, trying to bring those folks in to come and join our town. So that's where some of those dollars fly off to very quickly. And
here's a food for thought. I mean, I love all the restaurants in Monroe. I've eaten to every single one of them. I think they're phenomenal. But I also love the time when I go to Milford, I go to Bin 100, I go to El Polio. I like to get out, just like other towns. They want to get out of their normal restaurants. And they're like, oh my God, the Smitty. Right. Yes, I want to go there. So we need to kind of think outside of, forget just so much about Monroe, but if we start doing some of this and maybe take a little bit of that budget, and when we do Restaurant Week, we could strategically do an SEO campaign on Facebook, and kind of a PPC, which is pay per click in the SEO world, to get people to come into Monroe and, use either a couple cents for a click. But if we set up a budget, we do, let's call a number, we do $200 on Facebook ads that we're doing Business Week. Yeah. And almost do it like a American Express, how they do small business, on Saturday. They do one day, but we do for the week.
No, you're absolutely spot on. The only problem we have is we don't have anybody who actually runs our social medias. We don't have any social media experts that do our social media sites. I mean, because it's quite I think a task, and I'm not one either, so I don't know the first thing about it, but Herman's good at it. He can probably tell us. I mean, this takes a lot of hours, I think, man hours.
It does. I mean, I'm on it all day. I post all day for something.
I'm sorry, this is Christine. I just have a question. How many people here in our group today have an Instagram account and follow the Monroe EDC account?
Me.
I do.
2, 3?
Yeah, not I.
Okay.
I don't have an Instagram account.
What's that, Mary?
I don't have an Instagram account.
Okay.
Christine, I just want to add something. I want to add something to that, just so everybody does.
Yeah.
All the businesses in Monroe, when they post on Instagram, it automatically posts to their Facebook page. That's the one thing. Those two do link together.
It does. But what's interesting is Instagram is really, you tag other businesses, you partner with other businesses, and that's how you get your following. And that's how this information basically spreads with other, and you could tag the Chamber of Commerce in Newtown and they'll see all your posts. And the more you're
Mhm.
out on Instagram or Facebook, the more that is seen out there. The more it's free advertising basically.
Well, right now, Monroe EDC has 121 posts. We have 200 followers, and we're following 213 businesses. That's what we're following right now.
Yep, I'm looking at that right now. Now, what we want to
And
do.
and the one thing is we only have 2 hashtags set up. You know, that's the one thing that we need to kind of work on, because, like you said, that's how it all comes back to us. And I could help with social media. I'll come up with some stuff for the next meeting and give some ideas, free ideas of what we could do to promote.
That'd be great, because we don't really have much expertise in that arena, even though that's the arena we ought to be in, that we keep talking about. But we have no one to really execute on that. That's gonna, make us proud. So if you could do that, Jim, we'd be
Oh,
very
200,
indebted.
who just joined?
I was the one that started the Facebook page. EDC did not have a Facebook page until I started it. But the
Oh.
problem there is,
Okay,
and that
good.
was
Thank
that
you,
was
Herman.
years ago. But who's contributing anything? That's the whole thing. We don't have. We need to develop a marketing strategy, and we have to put some money into it. I mean, you know what it takes. You were just talking about, like the sponsored ads and whatnot. I mean, I really think that we should really seriously, if anyone, maybe William could weigh in on this and see, what are the people on your end? What are they asking for? When you're going out to all these businesses, what are they asking for? Do they want more traction? More
Oh, that's
exposure?
the Bill Holsworth,
Yeah,
you mean? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah,
asking me, Herman?
yeah. I'm asking you. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. What are they asking for? I mean, they're looking for their businesses to be reopened. They're looking for the COVID restrictions to be lightened up. Those are the things that they're primarily looking for. They're looking to be able to actually have clients in and have a waiting room open. They're looking for things like that. They just want to get back to business. They're not
but
looking for their menus to be redrafted. They're not looking for us to figure out what their specials are going to be. They're not looking for any of that. I offer them free marketing. I offer them to be able to put their specials and their menus up on our Instagram and our Facebook pages, trying to put it on the town website, coordinating with the Chamber of Commerce as well. But like you, I get no traction with any of that. They don't send me anything.
Yeah, we've had that experience time and time again.
yeah, so that's the whole thing. I mean, there's only so much that we could post independently on the ED. Again, without content, without again, if we had like a direct line, if they could just let us know where, what they want to announce, like what is their business experiencing these days. I mean, we need to be able to post at least 3 or 4 times a day, to get some sort of, traction going for these people. But if they're not feeding anything, then there's really nothing to post.
And that's the issue.
And that's the issue, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we could do it organically from our end. I know I do that. I'm constantly, if I'm at Terra Cafe and if I'm really enjoying, my lunch, I always make sure that everywhere where I spend my hard-earned money in town, I always make sure that, hey, I give them, I give them props, and I let people know, hey, you should really run on down over to Terra Cafe because, like there's a wonderful special today. Don't miss out, blah, blah, blah. But again, how many times are we, going to be pounding the pavement doing that on our own? It's like, I think we need to set up some sort of a hotline of sorts where they could just share their content for the day, or if they have any. Again, because I agree with Jim about the whole. Yeah, we just don't want to be just about restaurants. We should be, embracing all of the businesses. But there's a lot of businesses that people aren't even aware that they exist. You know how many people don't even know that there's actually a warehouse store at Victorinox? People just think that it's just the warehouse sale that they, but prior to COVID, twice a year. It's like a lot of people don't know that that store actually exists. People in town, you know?
It's true. It's true.
So it's like if we could start some sort of a campaign where, again, outside of restaurants, get all of the businesses, whether it's a paint shop or
Frame
a
shop.
muffler place, yeah, just
Right. Frame shop.
let us know, like let's say if, for example, Valvoline, if they are having some sort of a oil change special for the week, they should let us know, and then we could post that on EDC, on our, Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, and I
I
think
fully agree with you.
and I think
I found that okay. Yeah, Mary.
no, this is Christine. I
Oh,
think
I'm
we
sorry,
need
Christine.
more traction on our EDC site. Like you said, it went up to 200 followers from 199 just as we were speaking. I don't know if somebody signed up or not, but we need to get more traction there so people go there or follow it. So then we can continue getting the large following that we need.
Right. No, very true.
May
Well,
I
I-
just want to add to that. I found that article. It's by it's in the Monroe Parents Facebook page, and it's basically all Monroe residents and business owners are invited to share their business regardless of location their business is located at. If you're a resident of Monroe or a business, we love supporting you. Please post what you do, offer in the comments. And she does this quite often. And I'm just looking. Planet Pizza, Norwalk posted. I know they have a few locations, but it's places like that that are always that are posting in here, and there is a lot of comments. Brian Christie from Ravens, he posted. Cupcake Place posted. Mike Ganino posted about the Playground Foundation. So there's a lot. Set in Stone, one of the nail places. I'm just going through it really quickly. So that's something that we should also kind of do, and maybe all of us as EDC members kind of chime in and kind of go, wow, this is really great. The EDC supports all of you, and we kind of start that campaign and get people to know that what we do, because I bet a lot of businesses don't even know what we do here.
Right.
Thank you.
And that's why I wanted to try to, right.
So Bill, if the businesses are telling you that or what they need is just when I can reopen back up again, okay, there's really nothing. I mean, we as an EDC can't do anything about that. That's run by the state.
That's out of our control. Yeah.
We can't do anything. So is there anything else that they're asking for that we could help them with?
They haven't asked me for anything else, but maybe others have other experiences in their travels with the businesses, with the videos and all of that we were working on. But they haven't asked me for anything, no.
Well, then maybe what we could do, those signs that we had earlier this year where it was shop local, could we have bigger ones made, and maybe use some of that money to help promote, shop local, spring is here, shop local.
Well, I do have all those signs. I went and picked them all up, and they're in my office here.
Yeah, but I'm talking, Ray, I think those signs, maybe we could do something with a bigger splash, more, colorful, bigger, that, even some banners or something that, we could have made,
Right. Right.
shop local.
But we could use those as well. Yeah.
To what Herman and Bill are saying, if the businesses don't want to update and give us promotional ideas for what they're trying to sell, I don't know what we can do to help them, except from the back end, just to continually, showcase that we have businesses in Monroe, okay, and to try to do things like, business week or another event where they could participate and use the funds we have and the resources, because it's not just the $10,000 of capital that we have. Okay, we have resources that are on this call that signed up for this commission, that were put on this commission, that want to help. And I don't think, and this was one of the items that I asked to be put on the agenda this week, and I don't see it there, is how we can collectively work together, okay, to really promote the businesses and retain the businesses that we have. Because Bill, how many businesses have we actually lost in Monroe through COVID?
I'm
know?
actually getting a count on that. I don't know how many we've lost and how many specifically due to COVID.
Yeah,
I don't have an answer for you.
yeah.
To interject here, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I know it's getting late here, but
We're only halfway through the agenda.
oh gosh. I understand we want to promote all business, and that's what we should be doing. I get that. Back to Restaurant Week. I guess to me, restaurant people, town residents get excited about Restaurant Week. And yes, the restaurants do get a lot of our attention, but if we do Restaurant Week, and I'm not quite sure why, if we've done it in October in the past, why it has to continue to be in October. And I'm also not sure why we couldn't maybe do it twice. Now, having not been on this commission and gone through a Restaurant Week, I have to say I'm not quite sure of the work that's involved, and maybe that's just impractical. But I look at Restaurant Week as, yes, we got to promote all businesses, and yes, it helps the restaurants, but the town residents look forward to it. And if we were to have Restaurant Week in June, toward the end of June, when we would hope that the weather would be nice, I just think in addition to an EDC thing, it's a little bit of a community spirit thing, because people want to get out. It could be outdoors. We could kill two birds and help some businesses.
Right.
And we could just do something nice for the townspeople.
No,
So
it's
the
true.
reason why we canceled last year was because of the COVID and the numbers. And the numbers that are published right now, even the numbers that it goes to after March 19th, may not support a restaurant week. Ray, we talked about it last year, about the mixed message, about not wanting people to be close by one another. We wanted to maintain that social distancing, the masking, all of the things to flatten the curve, right? And then we're sending out a message that everybody should go out and go to restaurants this week. And it was a mixed message that we agreed we agreed as a team that we didn't want to do that. And now with COVID still being around, the numbers for what's allowed are still relatively low. Should we be spending our time tonight talking about Restaurant Week, or should we be talking about other ideas like we did last time that we didn't follow through with the videos and things like that?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot to take in. I agree with everybody. I fully agree. There's so much that we need to do. I think this year coming up though, if we were to look at Restaurant Week, I think we should look at it and do it the week that school ends, because I think it's a good way for people to kind of get out and kind of celebrate. I think people want to get back to a sense of normal. I sit on town halls with the governor's office about venues, about my business, being in the entertainment industry. We've been shut down, and he's been promising us, and we've been doing a whole bunch of different things with a whole bunch of roundtables out of Hartford of what he's going to do. And he's, by the governor, he's trying to promote he wants to get through St. Patrick's Day because of, he didn't want the big crowds. And that's why he put the numbers up on the 19th. He did it because he wants to. After St. Patrick's Day, there is nothing else. That's why halls went up. Wedding business right now is cranking for us. I'm talking to the Waterview. They're getting full staff back up. I mean, they're going full head. I mean, that's what I live off is doing weddings. And I have a ton of weddings from June on. Before that, not so much. But that's something to just think about, where I think people want to feel a little bit back to normal. Vaccines are out. The media is promoting it kind of well. We're all living with COVID now. So, and I agree, we need to kind of move on because, it is getting late. We do have a big agenda, but just something to think about as well. If we do
Yeah.
the restaurant week, maybe we do it when kids get that week they get out of school, give parents a reason to go out and eat.
Well, we could
And to
try to, we can try to do that. Yeah, we could try to do a restaurant week in June.
When I was talking about a restaurant week, and the reason I said June was I was thinking more outdoors. And okay, if restrictions have been lifted enough for people to have places indoors, and that's one thing. But New Haven did an outdoor one last summer, and I was thinking outdoors because I do know we obviously have to consider the restrictions that you're talking about, but just to clarify for whatever it's worth.
How long does it take to get information out for Restaurant Week? What's the lead time to get that up and going and promoted and all that? Herman, I think you and Ray are the only ones that were on it
Yeah,
at the beginning.
it takes more than a few months just
Oh,
to.
yeah, yeah.
So we would have to start now.
Like now, yeah. If you want to do something in June, we got to be already up and running. Yeah, because again, we're back to all the collateral materials that we collect from all the restaurants, trying to get all of that assembled,
Just
trying to
getting
go
a
to print.
Just
Yeah.
getting a simple menu and
Yeah.
what are you offering? What type of a special are you offering? It's like it's like pulling teeth. It's like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? You're in the
Yeah.
restaurant business. You should know how much your food is going to cost.
Right.
You should know, hey, you know what? I could do a real nice special for $9.99, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like pulling
This
teeth
is
all the
very
way to the end,
So
Right.
why does restaurant week have to be sitting there at the restaurant? Why can't it be with COVID takeout restaurant week?
Yeah.
Takeout,
Well, it could be. It could
Takeout.
be. Absolutely. Right.
Takeout.
Right.
right? It
Right.
doesn't need to be sitting there, okay?
I
Well, I
don't
don't
feel
think-
comfortable sitting in a restaurant, so.
What?
Yeah. And I don't think even
I
our
don't
restaurant
think-
week.
Because I don't even think, if you really sit back and think of it, maybe people won't want to go sit at a restaurant even in June yet, or July, or August, or September. But why
Right.
can't it be takeout?
Oh, it can be. I mean, we never did say that it had to be sit down versus takeout, because I think the people were taking out food when we did, even on our normal restaurant venue, people were taking stuff to go. So, and no one says it has to be sit down versus takeout versus outdoors. It's just a matter of restaurant week is available for all to participate in, and enjoy. So you're right. It could be a takeout. It really doesn't change the venue. We still have to do all the same legwork. We still have to get all the specials. We still have to get all the connection, all the media ready to go with the ads and postcards that we send out to all of the residents. We joined up with a company which we
So
did
why
a
can't we make it, so Ray, why can't we even make it simpler? Why can't we just say and post through Bill's Monroe Sun, through the media, through social media that we have, and we let the business, or we let the restaurants know, we're going to promote you, okay, for the next 2 weeks. It's a spring takeout week, okay? Here's your restaurants, okay? If you want to participate, okay, give us your, do their website, promote their websites or whatever, and let's do a takeout and spend the money, okay? Because we don't know for sure if we're going to be able to sit down and promote a takeout week.
Right. No, we can do that. Yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of, as Herman and I can attest to, is a challenge to get that feedback from those restaurateurs to cooperate with what we're trying to help them with. It's not an easy thing. And if you don't push and chase and knock them down literally to get the information that we need to assemble to make it look like we have a real venue going, and if you just decided, we'll watch our emails and see what comes in, we're going to have all 4 restaurants participate.
But
I
Ray,
think 4 might be right.
that's not what I'm saying. Dial all that back, strip all that back. Okay,
Right.
okay. Don't force the restaurants to have to say they have to participate.
No, then you're going to have 4. You'll have 4 restaurants participating.
No, I'm not saying, no, Ray, you're missing my point. As EDC, let's just promote all restaurants, okay?
Okay.
We're promoting, okay, for the town of Monroe on behalf of the EDC, and we do promotional ads, okay? This is takeout week. We can pick up the phone.
Oh,
We can
okay.
call the
I
20
see what you're saying.
restaurants have
Yeah.
in town and say, you know what? We're
Right.
gonna be promoting takeout week. So be prepared. They don't have to have a
Yeah, I
set
see what you're
menu
saying.
or whatever.
Right, I was
Just
trying to
push
go,
it out
yeah,
there.
yeah, I was trying to go back to the old format where we
No,
dragged
don't
all
go.
this stuff in and,
all that.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no,
But
we
the
could do
whole
it that
point,
way.
the
We
whole
could do it that
point
way.
of Restaurant Week wasn't to just, again, showcase our restaurants. It was really to drive traffic into town, to show people, again, we're trying to drive traffic in from, if we can, Fairfield, Trumbull, Newtown, and just, again, when we had normal times pre-COVID, it was like, oh, they could discover places like the Mason Jar, you know, uh, you know, uh, all the other shops. That was the whole thing. It was never really about showcasing the restaurants. So I don't know if a takeout is really gonna, what's it really gonna do? You know what I mean? The whole point is to drive traffic, and I think one of the biggest things that we've missed in the past, we have to be able to we want to be able to have some sort of a track record of how many people actually did participate in it. So we need the feedback from the restaurants. So remember, we need a way to measure it. So it's like, hey, we actually increased, we helped, I don't know, let's go back to Terra Cafe. They could say, hey, listen, we did an extra, we went over, like we did, we're 20% over of where
Right,
we were
right. Yeah,
prior. We need
because
to be
I
able
found that,
to
right,
measure.
and Herman is right. I mean, we, at the end of the day, on Restaurant Week, we were always evaluated as an EDC group about how successful we were, and they're very quick to tell you how successful we were not in driving new people and having their registers ring up loudly because of our initiative. So, I mean, that usually becomes our scorecard on how well we did for their behalf. Otherwise, they're, we've learned that we've been sometimes criticized that, well, that sort of didn't really do too much, and then we look like, oh, we got a black eye over that. I mean, that Herman has some of the same feedback I think that I'm describing, where they thought, well, you could have done better because the hype wasn't quite there. So we could do it as you suggest, Mary, which makes it a lot easier for all of us. But just be ready for any of that pushback that might come on social media about the end result after your 7-day trial.
All right, could I ask a question, please? I want to make sure I do my homework for the next meeting. So I'm not sure what could we kind of summarize what we talked about tonight?
Right. Well,
so that, and I'll admit I was remiss and I didn't go out and get a video for this meeting, but I would kind of like to know what did we resolve tonight?
well, yeah,
So
I
that
think Mary is going to go out and try to find. Mary's going to go out and try to find a couple companies that are going to help with social media with some kind of a template methodology to help it easier for those who are not sophisticated, so that we could see how much that program would cost for those who wish to take it and run to the next level with it. I think we've already agreed that we could try to do some kind of a restaurant thing for June, which I think is great. So we could start talking to some of the restaurants and get feedback, so we can talk about this again in the March meeting, which is only like 2 weeks away, about the feedback from the restaurateurs. What would they think about a takeout? What would they think about a restaurant week at all? What about, in June, that is, before the end of June sometime? And let's get the feedback from the actual players who are going to play. Thirdly, we were going to talk about.
I'll be more than. I'm sorry, Ray, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'll be
No,
more
that's
than
right,
happy to go. To go door knock with any of this. If you want to
Yeah,
go one day, when it's not busy around the restaurant, I'll be more than happy to go. Pound on some doors with you. And let's go talk to them. Let's
Right.
go over to
Let's find out
the
what
places
their
and.
right. Let's find out what their really pink thoughts are. Yeah.
I'm out 3, 4 nights a week, so I'll ask too.
And then on the third initiative was going to be talking about Danielle's late April concept that will help her craft and try to run with that as campaign 2 for our March campaign that we have already going. So we've got that's enough of a homework assignment, I think. Besides anybody who has time for videos, I don't want to give you too much work to do in the next 2 weeks, because we'll be meeting again on the second Thursday of March, which is probably, I don't know what date that is, but it's not that far away. March 9th would be, March 11th is the second Thursday. So March 11th, which is only 12 days away from today, or thereabouts, is when we're going to be meeting again. So I'll make sure Danielle's available so we could talk about the April fling. She can give us a tune-up about what's happening for the March fling, because that's still not, that'll be a week away from the kickoff of this one that we're supporting. We're going to get our logo to her so she can, readopt this press release and start to put our logos on everything. I haven't given her our chamber one even yet because I wanted them both to go on there at the same time. So that's why I held off on giving her the chamber logo. So that's how we'll be seen on many of our social media sites. Jim's going to try to help us formulate our thoughts on how to be better on social media. So we've tackled an awful lot of projects here tonight, I'm happy to say. And we'll be talking about them in 12 days to see where we are on the front, on all those fronts.
And then
I just wanted.
should I
I'm sorry.
check with
I just wanted to apologize for being that I had a phone in tonight. So I just wanted to make it aware. I do apologize. My kids had
No problem.
lacrosse practice. Monroe lacrosse practice started, so I'm just grateful the kids to be doing a sport and it happened to be on Thursday, and I do apologize. So sorry I had a phone in.
No problem at all, Jim. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. No, your input is valuable. Thank you kindly.
Right. I'll call the SBA and the Fairfield County, whatever, to try to see if there's something set up. Okay.
Great. Yep, and we can put that on our social media sites, so that those availability of those particular dates, for those who want to partake, which is great. So, we're helping our businesses from every different direction, I think, and I think we'll be proud at the end of the day that we've made some good inroads for their behalf. Because I will say that what I get from all the businesses is, can you ring my register? And that's all I ever hear, is that they would love to have their register ring louder. And that means just driving people into these buildings. And that's why I think this March, when I was so gravitated towards it, because this is exactly what it does. It's going to bring people into those establishments, which I think is great. And so I'm very proud of what we'll be signing on to. And I think we'll have a lot more success even in April as well, as we build momentum towards that goal of letting the registers ring louder, because that's all the business owners want, besides getting back to what Bill said is normalcy, which we can't do anything about that until the state agrees to that, So I think we're doing, good deeds. I don't know, Mary.
Right, just to add to that, a lot of the businesses call for the first selectman. They're looking for help with their permitting. They're looking for help with the processes and getting through the processes with town, whether it's expansions or new businesses coming in and things like that take up some time as well. So I just want to be clear that I work with a lot of the businesses that are coming in or expanding.
And I think back to the question that Mary had about how many businesses closed, I really think that we've held up pretty damn well, if you ask me. If you look at all those strip malls, as you visualize it with your eyes closed, on 111 and versus 25, there's not any stores that I recall that are completely lights out and black, and nobody parked in front of it. I think we've sustained ourselves extremely well. Herman, maybe you have a lot more experience out there running up and down those roads as well as I. Do you concur with that? I don't know. I think we've held up pretty damn well so far. And if we keep going,
I think, and there's some people that are really thriving in this because they get it,
Right.
You have some people like even Monroe Social, for example. Somebody tried to, it's funny because social media is a double. Were you talking about the fried chicken, right?
The chicken, the chicken, right?
You could take something negative and make it into a positive.
That's right.
But they stepped up, and I think they're doing. The ones that get it, The ones that hustle. But there are some people that are literally just waiting. Oh yeah, they'd rather complain.
Right.
Constantine gave me help themselves.
Constantine gave me a pan of chicken on Saturday night because I had a few people that came over unexpectedly, so I had to give him something, and he gave me $102 pan of fried chicken.
Wow.
So $102 of fried chicken in a little pan. He does pretty well with that fried chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just say that I texted Sam and Carl Anthony's while we were talking and asked if he would be interested, if he would participate in a restaurant week, and his response to me was absolutely.
Yes, he's always in favor of it. Absolutely, he is. Yep, he's always an advocate for it. Yeah.
But I just wonder if that's a reflection on what other restaurants might feel. I don't, obviously we would need more than one.
Oh, I think so, because any kind of hype helps him ring his registers. Why would he say no? First of all, we're also the only town in the region that doesn't charge for Restaurant Week to the restaurateurs. Fairfield charges $500 to participate in Restaurant Week as a restaurant owner. Newtown
Oh,
charges $350. We charge $0. Yeah. So we're the only town in the region that does Restaurant Week for free for the restaurant owners. So anybody who says no to us, which is why Herman and I are frustrated that we have to beg them for information, and it costs them absolutely $0. Every other town charges between $350 and $550 and $750 to participate in Restaurant Week, to absorb the cost for marketing, collateral materials that have to be printed and distributed, and it's a very expensive proposition for many towns. Yeah, and we charge $0. So I don't know what more we can do from EBC side to try to help that venue. But that's why Sam, along with his 75 peers, should say absolutely yes, no problem. I'm all for it, because it costs them $0.
Okay, so can we put on the action items to do between now and the next meeting so that we don't lose any time? Could
Sure.
we get the list of all the restaurants, divvy it up, and call the restaurants and ask them if they would be interested in doing a restaurant week, okay, in June? And it would probably have to be a takeout because we're not sure where COVID is. And then and then we would do one again in October. So who has a list? Bill, do you have a list of all the restaurants?
I can get the list from the health department. They regulate those businesses, so they have a list of the inspections and all of
Yep.
that. Strip out
Yep.
all of the data that
Yep.
The commission doesn't need.
Like I
and I'll
said,
provide
I don't
you
know who
with
would say, again, I'm not sure what we're going to discover, because who would say no when it costs you $0 to do it?
Well, could we charge them something, Ray? Could we charge them even if we charge them $100?
No, there's no need to, because I got news for you. If you charge them $100, our 4 participants will go down to 1. So don't try that. We've already tried to even think of that. Yeah, Sam will give you $0. Sam will give you $0.
I'm
That's
good
right.
with this one.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Don't go near that. No.
Okay. All right.
So could we
I'll be happy to take the restaurants on 25. I mean, I'll go look at them, talk to all
Yeah.
of them.
Go. Yeah. Get some feedback. Yeah. Get some feedback. It's valuable.
Lauren, what I was going to do, I was going to ask Bill if he could send me a list of all the restaurants, and I'll divide them up for people to call. Okay?
I can just drive up and down the street. I pretty much know what's there. Rather, I mean, whatever's. I'm just trying to make it easy. Whatever. If Bill's got it, fine. If not, I'll just drive up and down 25,
I'll
and
send
maybe
the
I'll
list out.
stop.
I don't have a problem sending the list out. I'll send it out to the entire EDC.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. We'll get some good feedback though. They'll be excited to do.
Okay. So what's the action on this then? Bill's going to send out the list, and Lauren's going to do what she's going to do. You're going to call all the restaurants on 25?
There aren't that many that are really.
No,
I mean,
there's
what
only
are
6
they?
or 7 over there. There's only 6 or 7. It's not.
I
It's
don't
not
mind
20.
doing- That's fine.
There's
And
a
I mean,
few
you're not
that
gonna-
can keep the
And how
restaurants
many
along
are there on
25 alone.
111? There's probably, Herman, how many on 111? Maybe 4?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
got the
whatever
pizza
they.
shop.
Not that many. Yeah.
Restaurants on 111? Yeah, there's way more than 4.
There's 102 that the health department regulates. So somewhere we lost 90 of them.
Oh God.
Well, again, a lot of times we didn't get a lot of participation from the small delis and so forth, because it was more for the normal kind of dining style, so, we certainly can, solicit everybody though. Nothing lost there. We'll find out.
Okay, but then what are we gonna say to them? Because if you call them up and say, do you
Our
want to
thoughts?
participate
Yeah.
in a restaurant week?
Right.
What
In
is
June, is June a problem for you? Yes or no? That's the first question we need to know. Some of them may say yes, because if we're busy with graduations and dinners and so forth, they're going to say, please avoid that week, because if we're going to be open for real business, that they're very busy for graduations, Yeah. So find a timeline. Would you like to do it in the middle of June, beginning of June, end of June. I don't know,
I'll check to see when the graduation days are. For a while since
Yeah.
I had kids in the system, so.
Um,
I mean, Bill, there's 100, but some of those are like little delis, which wouldn't do a restaurant week.
right. That's what we're saying.
That's fine. I still think they should be included. I still think they should be asked. They're no different
Yeah,
than
'cause they
any
could- they
other
could do-
business in town.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they could
Yep.
do takeout.
Yeah, we even went to McDonald's and Dutchess and included them if they wanted to, but they didn't even
Without
call
a
us
doubt.
back.
Without a
Yeah,
doubt. FM One Stop, Rite Aid is a regulated deli because they sell food. Every single one of them should be included in it.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
but then,
Go to Rite Aid for.
but we have,
You can go to CVS if you'd like. They're regulated too.
Spam.
we have to have a consistent message if we're gonna start calling and asking. You can't just say, do you want to participate in a restaurant week in June? Okay, you've got to have more, on the agenda itinerary so that you can tell them, and they're gonna say to you, what do you mean by that? Okay,
Well, I think maybe the call should go something like this. The call should go, hey, hi, I'm Jim from the EDC, and we're thinking about doing a restaurant week. We want to kind of really kickstart it. What are your thoughts? We're thinking of doing June. And kind of let them. Let's just take some notes from there and just kind of see what they're feeling, and let's and then listen. And then they're gonna ask a million questions, and I'm gonna say, I really don't have those answers, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that back to our next meeting, and we're all going to talk amongst it, and we're going to come up with a game plan. I'm going to be in contact with you. Thank you for your information. We support you.
Right.
Next call.
I
Yeah.
agree with that, because our next meeting is in 2 weeks, so we, like Jim is saying, we can just put some feelers out and maybe
That's right.
have, based on the response that we get, maybe we can formulate a plan in 2 weeks.
And I think we've done 3 and 4 years worth of restaurant weeks, so most of them have a real good pulse of what it's intended to do. It's not like you're recreating the wheel. They pretty much know what the whole intent is. They know it's free, and they're going to ask that, is it going to cost us any money? The answer is no. I mean,
so we're gonna stay away from the takeout then. We're just gonna say restaurant week. Would you be willing to participate?
right, because I just think leave it open-ended, because some might want to have sit downs, and we might be in a place where we can do a lot of sit downs or outdoor seatings by then. So it's not just restricted to to takeout, because then that puts a whole different spin on the flavor of what a restaurant week is for takeout only or whatever. And that doesn't sound like you'd be going to rustic Republic Kitchen then, because they're not really known for a whole lot of takeout. The pizza shops will all do well when you say takeout. I mean, I don't think Osteria Romano has a lot of takeout food. I don't think.
They do.
Do they have a lot?
Yeah.
Do a big job with,
They did a great job for Valentine's.
yeah. Okay. That's good then.
Okay, so Bill, you're gonna send us the list. You're gonna send it to us all?
Yeah, I'm going to send it to your EDC email. It'll be there tomorrow by noon.
Okay, so we all look for it. Then how do we divide it up?
Exactly. How do we divide this?
Yeah,
We could draw lines on it, Bill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we can put a name next to it. That's all. We know that Lauren wants to take care of upper 25, so we'll make sure she gets that avenue, that corridor. We'll do it. Bill and I will work on that in the morning. Don't worry.
Do you
We can handle
want
that.
the itinerant vendors as well?
The what?
You told me, Bill?
The itinerant vendors? Food trucks? Do you want food trucks that are licensed in town?
Do I
No.
want that?
Does
Oh,
anybody want them?
For
Anybody?
restaurant week? No, I wouldn't think so. No, because they don't really use their food trucks.
All right.
No,
Good.
but some of the food trucks do have establishments. So like Vazzi's has a food truck. They have an establishment. The Fiery Grill, he's got a food truck. He's got an establishment.
Right. I think
Mr.
it's more for
Mexican
the-
King.
Yeah, it's more for the establishments rather than the food trucks, because they're either mostly idle if they're not at a job site.
okay.
Well, I know we've licensed a lot of them over
so
the last year because Voracious uses them on Saturdays so that they can maintain open.
Right.
So
All right.
that's the reason I
Can we
asked.
move on? Because it's getting late.
Yes. Is there anything else we want to do on the agenda?
Well, we
I'm not
already
sure.
covered the spring campaign.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, we talked about the social media for sure. We don't have to go over that. Because I did want to bring that up again for awareness issues. So we've addressed that. So I really think we've addressed pretty much everything unless somebody else says anything else for the good of the order.
Bill, is there any significant new business coming in that you just have to share with us or anything?
I can't share anything that's not in the public view. So anything that hasn't been discussed yet at P&Z or at the Inland Wetland Commission, or that's got an application outstanding with the land use, I can't share. But what I can share is last week, Doc's Urgent Care opened, and we also approved Milton and Goose, which is a high-end, eco-friendly, non-toxic, to the point where you can literally drink their paint, child furniture manufacturer that's opening up on Pepper Street. Phil's hairstylist switched ownership. There's some other ones that are coming in that they haven't filed yet any of their paperwork. So I won't
JJ New
talk
York,
about those.
JJ New York, or whatever it is.
Say that one more time, Ray.
JJ New York, or whatever it is.
Oh, JJNY. Yeah, they're I don't think they've received their CO yet. I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
heard back from Gunner on that.
Brown Pizza is still building, you see over there. So they're ready to pop open very soon, I would think. They've been working on there for some.
Bill, where does this stand where in the Big Y Plaza that that Warehouse Wines is supposed to come over there? Are they moving in?
They are.
Yes.
They've pulled out their building permit for their tenant fit up, and they're working on that now. About 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, I saw the insulation was delivered and the drywall, but they're not ready to open yet. I haven't seen much work going on when I'm in that plaza.
The CBD store is slated to go on March 13th to open up. They have they're getting their final CO this week.
Yep.
Which is behind the liquor store at 574. So we have a lot of places opening up, and like I said, I'm very proud of the fact that our town is so chock full of businesses.
Yeah, I think on a net basis, once you take out the ones that have left and the new ones that have opened, I bet we're net positive in regards to the businesses for the year.
Absolutely.
No, that's good news.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the PPP money's helped everybody.
Bill, just one last thing. What about Panara?
What about it?
It stopped?
No, they're reviewing their applications. They're reviewing the site plans. They haven't signed any contracts yet, but they continue to entertain conversations with us.
Okay. Because I saw the sign was there was a new sign out there for lease on 111. I didn't know if Panara changed its mind.
Well, there are 4 buildings that are slated to be built there. One being Noble Gas, one being Panera Bread, Panera Cafe. If they sign the lease, but they have not yet signed any sort of a long-term lease deal. So until that's done, the developer isn't interested in putting up those buildings until they're rented.
Okay.
And I think also, did I read that the parking for the 400 trucks or whatever, is that a move, go forward?
That is I believe the zone change was the thing that was voted on or discussed at the last P&Z meeting, which was last Thursday, and they meet every other Thursday. And then this next week is the review of the site plan, the site development plan. So they only talked about the zone change at last week's meeting.
Got it.
Next week,
You saw what was in the. Yeah, one of it was in that. I guess Monroe will get the tax credits for the motor vehicles. So I guess that was a positive.
It is positive, yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
and there
great.
were some zone changes that we had to make, some of the regulations that had to be changed through P&Z. which we're working on others as well to make the town more business friendly. So you should be getting an announcement on that in the coming weeks once this all goes through legal review and gets voted on by the commission.
There's been a lot of changes that we're having in our town. It's going to make it phenomenal. Thanks to Bill's good work. He's got a lot going on. All right, is there anything else that the group would like to discuss?
If not, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Thank you, Jim. All right,
Thank you.
everyone have a great evening, and we will talk again
Take care,
soon,
everybody.
and we'll
Be good.
get our homework done. All right.